Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, June 19th of 2022. For us here in the United States, and I know some other countries around the world, it is Father's Day. And for whatever that looks like in your life, whether you have a biological father that raised you, a stepfather that raised you, maybe you are a father, maybe you're a stepfather, maybe you're an uncle who's played that father role, this is a beautiful time to recognize and to celebrate the men, the fathers in our lives. And so whatever that looks like for you, even if it's maybe celebrating a father who's passed on or a father figure who's passed on. I know that's true for me with my father, my first father-in-law and my second father-in-law. All have passed on, and I am absolutely so grateful for everything that they brought into my life, even all the things that were maybe challenging. And I think that's the thing, right? We get to celebrate whatever that looks like, give it grace, give it compassion, give it empathy. I think that we're in a space right now with everything that's happening in the world that we get to give compassion and grace to not just all of our fathers, but to each other. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Now, today's message is really interesting. To me, it's like we know that the world is going through a big transformational shift. We have different opinions, we have different perspectives, we have different ways that we're walking through this, and all of that is okay. It's okay. But here's the thing, there is big transformational energies, consciousness, systems that are changing, systems that are being broken down, systems that are trying to be, you know, to grow, whether that's good or bad. And there are big things happening. And to me, this is not the time to sit back and wait for other people to take care of things that's going to affect you. Right now is the time for you to go all in. In fact, I ran across this really cool little message that I wrote it down because I'm like, I need to make sure and share this with the way that this flowed out of me as I was taking notes when I was listening to a couple of different things this week. I got feedback from a couple of podcasts. I got feedback from one of my sisters who sent me this, and then we jumped on the phone and we had this amazing conversation. So I wrote down some things that I think are just so pivotal for where we are now, because it's not time to sit back and wait for other people to save you, or the government to save you, or things to get better, or your family to save you, or your mom to make things better, or your kids to make things better for you, your boss, whatever. This is not the time to sit back and wait. This is a time to go all in on whatever it looks like for you. Whether what that could cover so many things. So here's the thing. I feel like very few people actually jump in and do what they know they need to be doing on this planet. We all have a purpose. Deep inside ourselves, we know there's a purpose. In fact, here's the thing. I had two conversations this week that were so pivotal. There's two people I know who are very, very gifted in what they do. And for years, one girl in particular, almost 15 years, she has been called to put what she does on a more public platform. And as we've talked over the time that I've known her, the thing that she's being called the biggest to do is to create a YouTube channel and to put her message out there. And she's still kind of hemming and hawing about it because she just doesn't feel like she's ready. She got the camera, but she just doesn't know. She's just not comfortable. We had this crazy good, very interesting conversation, even just this week. And I'm like, you need to go home and tomorrow, because we saw each other, we had a girlfriend night this last week. And I said, as I was walking her out to her car, I said, you need to go home, figure out what you're going to do, and tomorrow morning turn on your camera and make a video. It might feel awkward. The lighting might not be good. It might be noisy where you are, whatever that looks like, but you need to start doing it. And she still kind of was holding herself back. And I'm telling you, literally, she has been wanting to do this for about 15 years, maybe more. And it's kind of like, this is the time. This is a time to go all in and bring to the world what you know your purpose is. And this is a wide gamut of things because we're all different. We all have different gifts. We all have different things that we love to do. And I think that if we don't go all in right now and help bring the light that is, the light is gaining momentum. And when I say light, I mean the rise of consciousness, the rise of compassion and empathy and abundance for everyone. This is how we are designed. This is what feels good in our soul. And it's not going to serve you to sit in a place where it might be comfortable, you zone out to different technology, and you just wait for other people to do it. So this is just a beautiful time. And I would say also, don't wait for the weekend. Don't wait for the next month. Don't wait for things to get a little bit worse before you just decide, okay, well, this, holy cow, I better get busy. Like one of the things that I'm talking about, and this might be just a really good place to insert this, is I believe I believe that we're going to have maybe a little bit of food shortages. And this is not trying to be a doomsayer, not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. This is me feeling like from everything that I'm watching, everything that I'm seeing, the people that I talk to, and if you pay attention to the nuances and history, you look at history and you watch the way there's dips in food that's available, um, the way economies go up and down. You know, we really are in for some interesting times, but you can either make the decision to simply survive, or you can make the decision to thrive when the times get hard. And I've been doing some food prep, and to me, it gives me peace of mind, and it gives me the ability to say, okay, no matter what happens, I can feed myself, I can feed my family, I can share with others, and it gives me peace of mind. And that is really it. And I also think this goes along with paying attention to your finances. I've been talking about this for a long time. And I know this is probably on your radar. Um, the people that I communicate with and the people that reach out to me and that I talk to either on the phone, via text, via email. There is a lot of like-minded people out there, and this is not about going into any type of panic whatsoever. This is about simply being aware, understanding that there are ebbs and flows of hard times as for humans, really, really hard times for humans, really, really, really good times for humans. And the last 60 years, we have had some really, 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 really good times for most of us. There are countries where it has been quite the opposite. There's been really hard human things that continue to happen. But for the most part, things have been really, really good. And the last couple of years have proven that there are things that need to change. So here's some of the things that I wrote down. Like I said, I really wanted to make some notes so that I could just bring this across to you. So I apologize for reading, but this to me is really good. So we say we want things to change, but we're not willing to work 24/7. And I'm not talking about when you're sleeping. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what does it really take to bring a vision forward for what you want to happen and where you can bring your gifts. Very few people, very few people actually change themselves. They want change, but very few people actually are willing to put in the work and change. A really good example of this is I have a very close friend who's been wanting to lose weight for probably 2 decades. And every time she gets onto a nice little roll of staying with a good nutrition plan and exercising, she has this deadline and she feels like she's depriving herself. So it's like, I'm going to do this for 50 days. I'm going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to do this for 100 days. And it's like the whole time that she's on this schedule that she's not eating the foods she loves, she's feeling miserable while she's working out, she's waiting and just getting to the end of this until she gets this deadline. And I think what happens is a lot of us do that. Say that you do this with your work. I'm getting to the end. I need to get to the weekend. Just if I can get to the weekend, then I can just chill out. I can relax. And so you're living for the weekend. If I can just get to retirement, you stay with a really bad job, and there are nuances around this, you guys. I understand that completely. But you might be in something that is not your passion, not your purpose, but are you doing it on the evenings and on the weekends? Are you doing this on the times when you're not at working at a job where you maybe aren't the happiest? Are you working on this and willing to put in the work to be the change? And I'm telling you, this friend of mine who's been trying so hard and she has this deep desire to lose weight and get in shape. At least that's verbally what she says. But to actually put in the work that it takes to be the change and to have the change that she wants, most people simply are not willing to do it, at least for the long term, and say, this is not something I'm going to wait till I get to the end of a month, at the end of a year. This is a lifestyle change. And if this is what I want, this is what I truly want, then we need to be willing to actually say, okay, I'm done eating sugar. I'm done drinking alcohol. I'm done sitting on my couch when I could be outside walking, or I could be in the gym taking a fun class, or going into a yoga class, whatever any of that looks like. So here's the thing. We all want change, but we're unwilling to put in the work. So here's the thing. If you don't invest all of your capabilities, your energy, and your vision, how can you expect things to change? And here's the cool thing. This is what I love. It's time to go all in and realize you have a purpose. Quit the excuses. Like, we can come up with a million excuses. And I've been guilty of that over the years 100 times, probably more. But it's time to quit whining and quit with the excuses. It's time to go all in. Human beings are adaptable. We can adjust and we can assimilate. It's like, okay, it's too cold where I live. Now it's too hot where I live. It's too humid where I live. It's too windy where I live. I can't do this because of this excuse. Like, humans are adaptable, adjustable, and we know how to assimilate. This is what we do. So I think the biggest message today is realize that you have the potential to make the changes that you want. You're not going to be able to change somebody in the government like right now. You're not going to be able to change somebody that lives across the street from you if there's something you feel like they need to change, which it really is, really for the most part, it's none of your business what they want to do. Unless it's doing harm to you, then that's a whole different story. But the thing is now is the time. It's time to go all in, and it's time to make, if you want to call them sacrifices, make the sacrifices and be the change that you want. You know, like I'm telling you, we are going through a huge transformational time in human history right now. And you have the ability to thrive during this. It doesn't matter up to this point. Exactly. You don't live in the past. Don't say, well, I haven't been preparing. Start now. Start right now. It's like that old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But the second best time is today. That is how you need to look at the perspective of your life and whatever it is that you want to see or not see. No more excuses. It's time to go all in. To me, that is where it's at. Stay informed. Please prepare. You know, I really feel like we are going to be in for some times that might be a little challenging. And I believe that if you have the ability to get a little bit extra, and I'm talking again here about the food thing, start preparing. You know, it's not about being a doomsayer at all. It's really about being a person who's aware of what's happening in the world and realizing that big changes are here. Not that they're going to be coming, they are here. We are in a place of big, beautiful, amazing changes. You have to be willing to look at it that way, because every time that things that need to kind of crumble and get better, when they are in the transformational phase, it's chaotic and it's messy and it can be hard and it can be painful. But it doesn't have to be as painful as we make it. Get your tribe around you. Get connected with the people that you know are like-minded and you know are going to be a part of a community that's going to survive and thrive during this. So Okay, I probably reiterated myself. I probably said the same thing 5 or 6 times during this whole thing, but now is the time. Now is the time. So I hope that you have an amazingly beautiful day. I hope you celebrate the fathers in your life. And even if it's just someone maybe if you had a father who wasn't 100% present with you, give gratitude for the life that you have from your biological father, if there wasn't a connection there. If you have a beautiful connection with your father's still here, your father's still around, give love, reach out, and I'm sure most of you are already doing that. So have a very, very, very beautiful day. Um, I love the place where we are. I get up every day with sheer excitement about what is the world going to bring today. I do have moments where I'm like, holy, what are we in for? Like, there are moments when I have to really feel feel negative energies, feel some fear sometimes. And I have to kind of just sit with those emotions for a minute, not let it get me crazy, not let it carry me through other places of other darkness, but kind of go, okay, whew, I'm feeling this. And now I'm going to sit with it for a minute and then I'm going to release it. So if you can help yourself get through these times, realize that humanity is going through a big, beautiful shift, you will have the ability to be all in on life and creation and the purpose that you have. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. I hope you have the most spectacular, beautiful day, and we'll see you next time.